So I'm having a chat with Conor Maynard. How are you?
I'm good, thank you very much. How are you?
Good, yeah, not too bad. Thanks very much. So, first things first, you have a new single out called Ain't Got No Friends. What can you tell us about the single?
Well, obviously the title sounds a little bit morbid. However, I promise it's not as depressing as it seems. I think actually one of those awkward things was basically telling all of my mates that I've got a new single coming out called Ain't Got No Friends. They weren't like very happy about it at all. But no, I think the idea kind of behind it is essentially just a love song, and I think the actual general concept is saying I could have no friends, I could have no job, I could have none of this, I could have no fancy things, but as long as I've got you, I'm all good. That's kind of the idea behind the song. I actually recorded it like about a year ago, but because obviously everything in the world was so kind of crazy, I felt like I wanted to kind of wait for the right moment to put it out. So now, it's out now for everyone to hear, and so far people seem to be really liking it, which is great. So exciting time.
Yeah, most definitely. And I mean, even with the pandemic and everything that's been going on, you've still been ploughing out the tracks over the last couple of years with a fair few singles and tracks as a featured artist as well.
Yes, no, exactly. I feel like, as you said, like with the pandemic, I feel like it affected certain areas of life like really strongly. I mean, obviously, like live shows and tours, etc., were an absolute no-go. And I think I actually had a tour which was meant to be in summer 2020, and obviously that had to be postponed. Which obviously is a shame, but in terms of that recording and releasing, that kind of was still pretty straightforward, because you essentially, like, in this day and age, you don't really even need to go anywhere. Like all of the tracks that are out now, I recorded at home. All the features I did were recorded at home. I never actually even met up with any of the artists or the producers or whatever that I worked on the tracks with. So you can kind of do all of that from the comfort of your own home. So essentially, I was able to still release a lot of music. Music videos were a little bit tricky. You have to obviously follow a lot of guidelines, etc. But those things were still doable. So I didn't want to kind of just completely go AWOL and just completely stop. So I wanted to keep going, etc. So I basically kept the music coming out.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been a few years now since you released your last record, and even having been around for like 10 years, you've still only released the 2 records. Are we now gearing up to record number 3, do you think?
I think so. I feel like I think it's more to do with I've just changed the way in which I release things. I think when my first album came out, which was about coming up to 10 years ago now. I think it's 9 years ago now, and obviously it feels like forever ago. And I think that when I released that album, it was definitely the more kind of traditional approach to releasing music. You kind of do a couple of singles, and then boom, the album comes out straight after that. And I feel like for me now, one of the major differences is that I'm actually independent now. So when I released my last, my first album, I was signed to a record label, which obviously was a different way, a very, very different way of releasing music. And now being independent, which took me about 5 years to get to, the last 5 years, basically getting to a point where I could be independent and release stuff kind of off my own accord. I think I've just basically taken a much different approach to it now. I feel like I just want to keep really, like kind of as you said earlier, I just want to keep releasing singles and keep releasing different things until something. I'm kind of trying to feel out what people want to hear from me now. I feel like we kind of nailed it 10 years ago, and I feel like this time it's like, cool, what do people want to hear this time around? And we're kind of just trying a lot of different things. I've been writing a lot recently, so it's kind of just feeling out what the audience want to hear, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, you're semi-popular on YouTube with just a couple of subscribers on there. And you kind of you do quite a lot of covers on there as well. But it looks like you've taken a little bit of break from doing the covers. Is that something you do want to keep on doing and continue doing, or are you just concentrating on the original stuff at the moment?
Yeah, well, it's hard really. I feel like it's a discussion I have with my friends all the time. Really, it's like covers are where I started, and I feel like it was such a it was such a crucial part of kind of how I came to be kind of in the music industry. And I feel like for me, it's always that battle of, you know, do too many covers deter from the kind of original artist type thing? Do people start then seeing you as a cover artist and maybe they don't like, do you, and then when you then release original music, they're a little bit uninterested, and, oh, you know, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear your take on other people's songs type thing. And it's very difficult to kind of know what kind of people want to hear. And I think that, but one thing I definitely know is that covers are so useful when it comes to, you know, when it comes to the point where you maybe haven't got any original music that's ready to go. Covers are, for me personally, are such a kind of quick way of kind of, you know, keeping the audience engaged and you know, basically keeping yourself out there while you're kind of on that downtime of not releasing original music. But now, I think now that I'm in the kind of you know, I'm kind of in that original music mode, I feel like, yeah, I've definitely stopped the covers for a little bit, but I'm positive that a new one will come out. I feel like I don't really look at it I don't really do it in a very structured way. I literally just cover a song if I really like it. I don't really like stick to a schedule or anything like that. I just put out something if I hear something, I go, oh, that's really cool, I want to do a version of it. So that's it, really.
Good. And you took the leap into reality TV last year with SAS Who Dares Wins, and your brother has also done some reality TV as well. Is that something you think you might continue doing now that you've had a taste of it?
That was actually my brother that did that show, but then my name was obviously mentioned a lot during it. So basically my brother has done loads of reality stuff, and I feel like that's worked out really well for him. I don't know if he's going to do any more. I think for me personally, I remember, I think it was a few years back, I kind of was approached by all the reality TV shows kind of all at once, and it was basically I don't know. I feel like personally, like I definitely wore more to kind of the music side of things and kind of having my own kind of social media presence, because I like the control that I have over it. I like the fact that like it's everything that goes out is completely edited and decided by me. As opposed to kind of, you know, I think when you go around to TV, it is that kind of scary thing of where it's kind of out of your hands. Like, you know, all you can do is, you know, be the best, whatever you can be, but then obviously it's up to them to edit it in whichever way they want. And for me, that's kind of scary. I feel like I always think that, oh, like if the producer suddenly decided they want to make me the villain, then they can do that. And I feel like that, yeah, that's kind of a scary concept. So I always think that I'd for now at least, I'd definitely rather stick to kind of YouTube and everything where I kind of have full control. So I think for now it's a no on the reality TV front. But you know, you never know.
You never know. Yeah, cool. And looking to the future as well. Even with your tour postponed, I'm sure you can't wait to be back on the road as soon as possible. Yes,
no, definitely. I think we're looking right now at autumn of next year. So we'll hopefully, fingers crossed.
Yeah, fantastic. And well, is there anywhere that you haven't toured before that you do want to get to at some point?
Well, the frustrating thing is the summer 2020 tour was basically I was going to a place I hadn't been to before. It was a Asia and Australia tour, because that was the two territories I hadn't visited on my previous tour, and obviously that was the tour that got cancelled. So that I think what we're basically aiming for a full world tour in the next one, just so you know we cover all territories, because I think that's the thing about the internet. It's so international. There is kind of no real I don't know, like I think there's no limit to kind of where your music can reach, and I think that's kind of pushed us to think, right, let's go fully international on the next tour, because we've already covered a lot of Europe and America, but never really ventured out of that on any tour. So I kind of want to I kind of want to go a bit further, basically. So yeah.
Perfect. Excellent. Well, Conor, it's been great having a chat with you.
Yes, thank you so much, man. Thank you.